Hi, I'm Hannah Brothers, and my Chapel Talk is entitled, How the Food Industry is Deceiving You. Sugar plays a huge role in many of the current and rising health problems people experience today, including obesity and cancer. Despite these issues, sugar holds a critical place in the food industry, which furthers the consumer desire for sugary foods in order to increase their profit. Sugar causes physical health issues for the consumer, but more importantly, it causes mental health issues. Liam Mannix, in his article, What Sugar Really Does to Your Brain, classifies the effects sugar has on the brain as a possible addiction. Half of the sugar one consumes is taken in by the brain, and when the brain craves food, the reward system is stimulated. When the reward system is activated, motivation to eat is increased due to a release of a neurochemical called dopamine. The craving for something sweet becomes apparent, and when something sweet is consumed, chemicals enter the brain and cause the food to taste sweeter. The brain becomes tolerant of this feeling and requires more of the sugary foods to be consumed in order to achieve the same pleasure, leading the consumer to believe they are hungry when they are not. Despite the effects, the food industry uses copious amounts of sugar in their foods to increase their profit. David Kessler, a Harvard Medical School graduate, argues that, quote, food manufacturers have learned that 3 ingredients make us want to eat more and more, even when we aren't hungry: sugar, fat, and salt, end quote. Food companies are aware of the pleasure sugar gives the consumer and deliberately re-engineer the foods we buy. They deceive the consumer and increase the amount of added sugar in their foods. Bonnie Leibman, in her Nutrition Action Health Letter, writes, quote, experts advise us to eat more fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains. Instead, our stores are stocked with junk foods that claim to deliver those same foods, end quote. For example, food companies such as General Mills and Kellogg's have changed the name of their cereals to make them seem healthier. General Mills renamed their cereal Sugar Chex to the current name Honey Nut Chex, and Kellogg's changed one of their popular cereal names, Sugar Pops, to Corn Pops. Brands try to sound healthier and more nutritious, but actually increase their use of sugar, salt, and fat. To their advantage, food manufacturers are not required to include whether added sugars are included in the total sugar content. An article written by the Harvard School of Health states, quote, to avoid having sugar as the first ingredient, food manufacturers may use multiple forms of sugar, end quote. This further causes consumers to be unaware of what they're putting in their bodies and continue to buy more of these sugar-laden foods. In his interview by NPR, Michael Moss, a journalist who has spent years studying the food industry, makes it clear that food companies use large amounts of substances, such as sugar, to fulfill what the consumer thinks they want. They use this unawareness to manipulate the buyers and increase their profit, which, according to Glenn Ellis, a writer for the Philadelphia Tribune, is approximately $100 billion per year. Regardless of the numerous health issues, food manufacturers and businesses continue to use and increase the amount of sugar they add to their foods. Companies are no longer in the business of providing nutritionally sound food for the public. They are in the business of the ever-increasing bottom dollar. Thank you.